you are certainly familiar with this Pacers team and were before the finals, but are you surprised, or how surprised are you that here we are with Indiana sitting at a 2-1 advantage?
Yeah, I thought if they got game one like they got in all these series so far, especially in the nature that they did, I thought it'd be Pacers in 6. So I guess I'm not, overly surprised. Again, you just got to go back to game one. I think when you win a game in that magnitude, it's soul-crushing. I think it's worth more than just one game. And, I know the Thunder obviously responded in game 2, but you got them in the clutch again on Wednesday night. You saw what happened. I think that's the biggest key for the Pacers in this series. Oklahoma City has not been in a lot of clutch games this season. They're not used to their guys playing taxing fourth-quarter minutes. The Pacers are. The Pacers have thrived in those situations. So far, 2 out of the 3 games have been in the clutch, and the Pacers have won both.
Yeah, it seems like they thrive when people count them out. I wanted to ask you a layered question, which is, the Pacers are already underrated as it is. Like, the example is, the books still have the Thunder as the favorites to win the NBA Finals, despite sitting in a 2-1 hole. But I want to ask you, what is the most underrated part of this underrated team? Is it the defense? Is it a certain player? What is something about this Pacers team that people still aren't talking about?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would probably say their defense, and I think you felt it on Wednesday night, especially in what they did with Shea and just kind of making him work for 24 points, which, for him is not what he's used to. Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith usually are kind of their wing defenders. I thought Miles Turner, battling illness, had some big-time blocks late in that game to really seal it. I think for the most part, people are used to, knowing about the Pacers' pace and knowing about their depth. And, Halliburton is certainly an elite talent. And Siakam was an all-star this year. And, I guess for, true NBA watchers, what Benedict Mathurin did the other night is not that outlandish. He is a very microwavable player. Granted, on that stage, it's still, absurdly impressive. But I would go with their defense. It had been kind of the Achilles heel, I think, in recent years. And I thought, from a turnover standpoint, Oklahoma City really struggled in that area, one of their higher totals of the year in Game 3. And I thought the Pacers had a lot to do with it. I thought just the pressure and the hedging of, SGA pick and rolls made him work. And I think they made him work on the other end, which obviously contributes to it as well. But, yeah, I would say the underrated aspect would probably be how much they've improved defensively.
We're talking with Kevin Bowen. He is co-host of the Fan Morning Show on 107.5 in Indianapolis. Find him on X at KBowen1070. Kevin, confidence is thrown around. That term is thrown around a lot in sports, but it feels like with this team in particular, they are supremely unshakable. Is that the feeling you get being around them?
Yeah, without question. I mean, I go back to the clutch stat. I think they've won like 17 of their last 19 games in the clutch, something along those lines. Unflappable, I think, is a great word. And, Mark Dagnall actually pointed that out before the start of the series, just how individually confident he feels like the Pacers are. And go back to Game 3. I mean, they don't win that game without T.J. McConnell and Benedict Mathurin. Now, they carry themselves in very different ways, but they are two extremely self-confident individuals. And I think for the most part, the Pacers have that. I mean, Andrew Nembhard, to me, is the poster child of that. Obi Toppin, I thought, came in off the bench, and especially, kind of Game 1 down there, hit some big shots. So, part of that, I think, is identifying guys, via the draft or obviously via player acquisition. But also, you got to have that from a coaching mindset to where, hey, that leash isn't incredibly short when you go out there, and, we'll let you play through a mistake or two. So I would say, 1 through 10, they are very, very confident.
All right, a couple minutes left, but sell us on the Pacers winning the NBA Finals. Here's your stage.
I mean, hell, I hate to keep it so simple, but I mean, when you're up 2-1 and you've got home court, I think it's very, very possible. You brought up the line earlier. It's a little surprising that it hasn't gotten a little bit more, even money for me with how this series has unfolded so far. Even tonight, it's Oklahoma City once again. 6, I think, last I saw. I mean, that would be, I believe, the second biggest home underdog the Pacers have been all season. So, The quick turnaround at home, I think, favors Indiana. I don't know. We'll see about, Turner, where he's at from a health standpoint and, that aspect to it. But, yeah, I mean, I'm probably a little bit more, I don't know if bias is the right word, but I guess I just watched the Pacers all season long. And, again, Nembhard and Nesmith missed the early portion of the season, chunks of it. Since January 1, it's Oklahoma City and the Pacers is the best record in the NBA. I mean, guys, it's June 13th. January 1 was a long time ago. That's a big sample size. So, I think the Pacers can definitely and frankly should win this series at this point. And, obviously protecting home floor is, vital tonight. But if you do that, you get three cracks at it. That's hard to bet against.